Well, it's hopefully says we're live now, so that's a good thing. Thank you so much for joining me this evening with this masterclass. In this masterclass, let me introduce myself. My name is Lesley Pazdzioch, and over the next few months or longer, I'm at least over the month of December, I'm doing live master classes here to help individuals heal emotional things and really connect to their higher self, their higher divine powers, because this is a gift that has been given to us since we were young, when we came into this world. And it's something that many of us, me especially, I had no idea it was even available to us, and really how to have this guidance, because we came here fully aware of certain things that we came here with a soul mission and a life purpose. And we have this guidance available to us that allows us to follow this to achieve the purpose that we're here for. And part of tonight's, or over the next several weeks, I'm going to be holding these master classes so that I can share with people things that I've learned. And if you haven't heard my story, I'll leave a link down below, and you can go to watch that video if you want any more further background on my qualifications or my validity of what I'm saying in this video. And I'd also like to, as we start this video and all any other things in the future, as normal, I'm going to ask you to please just take a moment, take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, really settle in to yourself and ask yourself and speak to your holy, your divine, to your God, however, whatever you, your higher entity, whatever that is, your sovereign. And I would like you to just take a few moments and just really settle in and ask them, if what Lesley is telling us is true, please show me something. I will ask this now. I'm going to ask it in other videos, and I'm going to continue to ask it to be the first thing that people do as we come together in these meetings, because it's important for me to be certain that you individually are on the right path for you, for your soul purpose, for your life mission, to find your inner answers so that you live the best and greatest life that you possibly can, because this is why you're here. And while I personally believe and know that, because we're all guided, when you find this, you'll have a really great understanding of what I'm talking about. But we all have this guidance available to us, and it's really nice to utilize that. But for me to ask you to really look inside of yourself and say, is what she's saying true? And you receiving that answer is not coming from anywhere other than your higher self. Not only does this solidify what I'm telling you and validate my overall effort and my job, but it also gives you an opportunity to become aware of how truly close that connection is to you. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about how to really connect with that so that you can begin living the life that you're supposed to be living, because that's why you're here. That's why we're all here. And right now in the world, this is something that we truly need. We need to take it seriously. And we need to be thoughtful on our approach to not only others, not only to ourselves, but also to others. Okay, so I think I've said everything that I needed to say. Oh, and one other thing. All of these master classes, none of them are scripted. There's going to be certain formats, as I go on. This is the second one I've ever had. There's going to be formats or a topic, but the information that we talk about, it's all just, I'm streaming it from my heart. I'm the type of person, I can't script things. So if there's questions, and I say this because if you have questions along the way, because I missed something, please don't hesitate to either put it in the chat on this, and if I'm doing this on my own, so if I can answer that, that's great. But in the description of this video, there's a questionnaire, and I'd like you, after this presentation, really go through that and answer. That would really help not only myself present and provide you with the information that you need, but it will also help others receive what they need. Because if you need it, somebody else needs it, and maybe you're the one that needs to be strong to ask when other people really hesitate to ask for what they need and what they want. And sometimes they don't even know. Sometimes we don't even know what we need and what we want, but that would be very helpful to me. And then just go ahead and put your question in there or your suggestion. And, I'd just like to remind you, be kind with this, because this is not about me. It's about you. This is about my gift to you. I'm not charging you anything. And all it's costing you is your time. But it's your choice and decision to be here, to watch this, to continue to really engage. Because history's, the world's being divided, as we all know. And you can decide which side of history do you want to be on. Do you want to be on the side that's forward-looking, or do you want to be on the side that's stuck in the past with regret or blame or shame or remorse? Because let me tell you, from where I'm sitting here right now, I don't want you on the other side. I don't care who you are, what you've done. Your soul in this world, you have a mighty purpose. And you, my friend, need to figure that out. Because you have meaning. You have a reason. And it's more powerful than you can believe. And no matter where you are in your life, you can start from here. You don't have to look back for anything. There's a reason that your windshield's larger than your rearview mirror. And that's so that you can see all the options available to you and glance up at how far you've come. So that's what I have to say about that today. So let's just kind of get started. I need to be able to hear what I'm saying. So if I get just trying to make sure that this is going to work, so that I make sure that I recorded a whole over an hour talk, almost close to this subject, and no vocals were on it. So I'm really working on my technology efforts. So tonight, and these master classes will be available. Let's see, on Tuesdays in the morning around 9:00 a.m. Mountain Standard or Mountain Daylight Time, and then Thursday evenings at 7:00. They might shift more. I think I might move it back to around 6 o'clock, because I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the best time to make this work, and maybe people can watch it while they're making dinner or driving home or what have you. But anyway, right now that's I think I'm going to change it at the first of the year. I've already scheduled this year, so I think that we might start in January, if they continue, these master classes at night continue on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I might shift the evening to 6 o'clock. I'm trying to work it out so that not only can people, I just want people, as many people around the world that can possibly see it live are able to have that opportunity. So let's get started with this. You know, the topic that I really wanted to talk about with everyone tonight is the topic of our earlier years in our life, because a lot of people I see are struggling just like I did with childhood. They're caught, you know, and I'm just gonna trauma, the childhood incidences that really left us scarred, right? And now, first, I want to look at that because there's some important things that really need to be addressed. First of all, I'm sorry that you went through this, and I'm sorry I had to go through it. I'm grateful for the path that I took in order to find the solutions that I have, because they, I know, are going to make a tremendous difference through the world. I know that some people might disagree with what I'm going to say, and that's okay. If there's something here that's meaningful to you, one fragment, a mustard seed, then take that mustard seed and go. If there's, you know, this is just information for you to look within and say, what part of this works for me? Which part of this is going to make me better and not bitter? What part is going to help me heal within myself, right? Even if it's just a mustard seed, or it could be the whole plant in these master classes. The whole point of it is this is up to you to make your choices, determine who you are from the inside out, so that you can live your greatest life being the best version of yourself, right? Because you're beautifully, perfectly created. And this is what God wants from all of us. This is what God wants from all of us. And so let's talk about, first of all, you know, our early years. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm actually going to show you how to transform, transform, I want to show you how to look at them at a different perspective, right? Look at these situations differently, because we're gonna do this by shifting our beliefs about, you know, ourselves through this process, because we're going to process the information correctly this time, and then we're going to gain by doing so, you're going to gain a really you're going to gain a greater understanding. And have a better realization of who you are as an individual, right? So now we can be done with this. Probably should. This red's kind of tough to get rid of. The first thing we have to realize, the first thing that I had to realize through this whole thing is that, you know, and this was always later, you know, it's always hindsight, right? For me, this was the hindsight. And for me, the hindsight was when I when I did all this work, I came to the realization that, you know, I realized we all have a purpose, right? So the first thing is that we all have a purpose. Well, here, that's not. We have a life purpose. Right? And a soul mission. So we came here, you know, to throughout this life to fulfill our soul mission. And I know I've said this, but this is really important to understand these early years. Number two, our life purpose is to fulfill the soul mission, where this fulfills this, right? Our life purpose is one of the biggest things is to fulfill this soul purpose. And the second thing is to create betterment. We're here to create and to make better the world that we live in. With this, we also come here and the Catholic religion. I grew up raised, well, I was baptized Catholic. I didn't have the proper Catholic family or background. My mother was Catholic, baptized Catholic, so we were just Catholic. That's just what was assumed. But there wasn't the formal living, the belief. Like when you have a religion or a belief system, you live that through your life, right? You study it, you live it, you go to church. That's a part of you. That wasn't how it worked for me, but that the reason I understand that, because many people are just go to church on Sunday, and then that's it, right? Well, we went for a few years to catechism and mass. They drop us off, they pick us up. That was it. Anyway, the third thing is that we come here with the Catholics. The reason I got into that is because there's an original sin. This marker's not going to work. When we're born, it's called the original sin. This is what I really want to. This is really what we're going to talk about in a lot of detail. But along with that, in the Christianity, in the Christian faith, the Christian, not just Catholics, but in the Christian faith, we're born with this original sin. I'm not certain about other religions. I'm positive with mine. So if anybody has the answers to that, please let me know. Along with this original sin, we also have in Christianity, right? We're baptized. And it's through this baptism, through Christ, right? We're baptized for Christ, right? We're baptized because Christ, because Christ, it's through baptism. It's through this baptism that our sins are forgiven, right? Because we're born with this original sin, and then we're baptized, and Jesus said, through me, you can get to the Father, right? Through me, you can get to the Father. And it's this sin, once you're baptized, is forgiven. Okay? So this is important to really pay attention to, because now I want to talk about this. your life, each and every one of us comes and we're born. We're born into this world and we have a mission. And part of the mission is our life purpose. Not only are we here to create something to make humanity a better, to make Earth or the world and others a better place, and leave having bettered it. We also come in with this original sin, right? And it's when and the original sin that we come in with are the things that we have to change. Now, does this mean that it's something that we did from a former life or whatever? No, not necessarily. And I don't really think that it ever has been. What the original sin is all about is it's the change that we want to see made within humanity to make it a better place. And when you're baptized in the name of Jesus Christ, okay, you're baptized in the name of Christ, and this is coming directly. This is directly. I've learned this stuff. I've got it directly. I'm not. This is the honest truth. When you're baptized in Christ, He said, "Go in my name." You know, it's to follow Christ. It's called to follow Jesus, to follow His teachings, right? Because it's through Him that we get to the Father, and the Father is who we're trying to get to. We're trying to reach perfection. We're trying to perfect our soul while we're here. We're trying to become the best people we can and have the pure souls that we can. And it doesn't matter where. You can't say, "Oh, Lesley, God, I have a history. I'm shutting this off." You know what? No, because it's through the baptism, it's through Christ that all sins are forgiven, right? All sins are forgiven through Christ. Okay. This is, and I've never read the Bible. This is, I couldn't understand it. It just, I'm just talking for what I know. If I get something wrong, I'm sure somebody's really, I'm sure there will be many people not afraid to let me know. However, this is the stuff that I know, that I'm sure of, that I've been guided to know, and that they want me to share. That I get to share now because it's important. It's important because you're loved and God wants His people back. God wants His souls. He wants all of us to home. He's trying to come in right now on earth. God is trying to bring His people back together. You know, we're looking at all this craziness that's going on. I know I'm going to divert for a minute, but we're looking at all this craziness going on, and really what's happening is God's trying to get His people back. And there are certain people in the world right now that, you know, are going to have these callings. They're going to have these callings. They're going to be chosen. They're going to have these callings, and they're going to have to answer them. And God prepares them. And if you're one of them, and you don't feel worthy, trust me, 7 years. 7 years. And it's taken a lot, but I had a lot to heal. I had a lot to heal. But I just want to encourage you, just take that step. Take that step, because it's past our time. We got to just get on it. We just have to really just step into it. Messy. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be perfect. I thought I had to be perfect. I thought I had to have everything perfect because, you know, you're working for God, right? You're working for the higher divine. Everything needs to be perfect. And I was freaking out because I knew things were not perfect. But they don't need to be perfect. God just wants you to start. So if you've been chosen for this, God just wants you to start. Start messy. Because they've got your back. They've got your back. I have so much messy, and I have to get it, you know, social media and my website and all this stuff. It's like I was panicking constantly because, you know, you have this calling, but you have this way you're supposed to do it, and you don't have it all together. And you know what? Just start sharing your voice. with others. Start sharing your voice with others, because God needs you here, and He needs you to step up. And I know, because I've had to step up, and this is my month of stepping. So anyway, back to this. When we're born with this original sin, and the original sin isn't actually a sin that we have created or that we did something wrong. The original sin is actually a difference that we want to make in the world, and we make this choice when we're a spiritual, when we're a soulful being. It's something that we want to change within humanity to make humanity a better place. And this thing's coming loose. We want to make humanity a better place, right? So this is what you're here to do. You're here to make that change within humanity. The original sin that you came in here with, this soul mission, very often it is going to be the struggles that you have within those early years of your life. Whether it's molestation, whether it's, whatever it is, abandonment, whether it's whatever this issue is. Okay, whatever you suffered from that's holding you back, a lot of times, whatever those are, that's your soul mission. That's your soul mission. That's why you're here. You're here to make that change. And you're going to feel it, right? Because you knew when you were in heaven, you knew this was something that you could feel it. You just had a passion to change it and to fix it. But when you get into your humanness, your human body, from your soulful being, and you really feel it, it's a lot different. It's a lot different when you feel that pain and experience it for yourself than when you're observing it from a place of empathy. And those two things are really important to remember, because this is a cycle that's going to carry out throughout your life. Okay, it's going to carry out through your life, because there's, again, let's review that again. There's the observation of the experience, just observing and having empathy. And there's another of actually feeling it, right? Actually feeling that pain. And the reason I say that is because as you start to move forward with this forward healing, those two aspects are going to be very important. Observing things from internally and seeing what's happening outside of you. And then there are those things that happen that you can feel and that hurt you, or that you can feel that bring you joy. You're making choices from that, right? You're making choices from it. But that's the choice that you're making. That's what you're making, is that experience is one that you chose to make a difference in. It's when you chose to make a difference in. And I can tell you personally, there have been quite a few. I'm an open book. I don't care what people say about me anymore. I'm 57 years old. I've lived through hell, and I am very proud of myself to be where I am today and to be able to share the things that I can share. And I'm proud of myself, and I'm awfully damn strong, but I'm the softest, most kindest person. And when you start to go through this healing forward, and you start to live from the inside out, it doesn't mean build walls and get a thicker skin. No. What it means is that you are going to get softer. You're going to be able to feel things that you do and things that other people do. It's almost like when my girls were little and they would argue and fight. It used to really hurt. It really hurt, and sometimes it just really just frustrated the shit out of me. But anyway, you used to have them sit there like Indian style, and they'd have to lean with their little legs crossed and little arms crossed. They'd have to lean in and touch the end of each other's noses, right? Because if they were bickering and they were fighting, and they went to, that's the only thing they could do. If they pushed like this into the other person to hurt them, it would hurt them back. So they learned that if I hurt you, it's going to hurt me. And this is very much about, healing forward. If it hurts you when you experience it, or if it hurts, or if it brings you joy when you experience it, those are the things that you want to be aware of by observing, right? You're going to observe these things and you're going to implement them and make those choices sifting through those things in your life. And I'm kind of a little bit off now, but this is healing. This is the process of healing forward. There's nothing to look back. There's nothing to look back. Because if you had to look back, say this stuff, let me tell you why you don't have to look back. Say that you had let's use abandonment issues, okay? Let's use abandonment. Because this is one that I really struggled with for a long time. When you have these issues, when you have these experiences in your life, say when you were younger, right? My mind stemmed from when I was younger. But when you have these issues, and they're the ones that you're trying to change or to make better, right? You're trying to I want to say alchemize, but I don't know. But let me tell you why you're not going to be looking back. Because when these become a part of your personality, when it's becoming who you are, right? These abandonment things, they're going to show up in every relationship. This is a characteristic of who you are. It's going to show up in every relationship. If this happened when you were 5, right, or younger, say it happened since birth, right, from, let's say, birth forward, and say right now you're, let's put my age, 57. How many relationships and interactions have you had that you know that this issue, that your abandonment issues affected? I mean, you'd be like this. Think of it as like a domino, right? Dominoes. All these interactions with people. And this affected them. You can't go back and fix all this, right? You can't go back and heal all this. This is why we call it. This is why, I decided, God, no, I'm done. I'm done blaming myself. I'm done blaming others. There's got to be a different way. There's got to be a different way. Because I got sick of that in therapy. Blame the other person. Take responsibility. Bullshit, right? There has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. And there is. Because I figured it out. And this is it. Once you start using this method of, and I call it healing forward, right? They're going to be like dominoes. So if you're here, like me, and all these, once you start healing these aspects of you, all of these are going to start falling like dominoes, And all the pieces, all those missing pieces or pieces in the wrong spot, right, of your puzzle, of your beautiful canvas, your Picasso that you're writing, the puzzle of your life, the pieces are going to fall into place like magic. And it all begins asking yourself this question: who am I? And then you're going to ask, why are you here? And I think I shouldn't have erased that, because I think there was something else that I wanted to go forward with or explain, but that's all right, because I'm sure I'll catch it on another video. But the whole thing is that when you have this issue and you have abandonment issues and you go to heal it, and another thing is important to remember too, healing is a gift you give yourself. It's a gift you give yourself. It's a beautiful gift you give yourself. And if you don't know how to do this properly, or when you learn how to do this properly, let's be positive here. When you learn how to do this properly, you're going to be able to go through your life and heal every single moment as they occur. Nothing should build up again. If there's something that happens and you're not certain how to deal with it or what to do with it, that's okay. Leave an empty space. Leave that empty space. Don't stick it somewhere on your piece or your puzzle. Don't stick that piece in your puzzle if you don't have a place for it and you don't know that it fits perfectly in that's exactly where it belongs. Because 9 times out of 10, if you can't find it when it first went in there, you're going to find it later, obviously, or it probably didn't even belong there in the first place. Okay? So here's what I'm talking about. You have these let's say you have this issue, right? You have these abandonment issues. How can you, and it's because of maybe that, let's just create a scenario. It's from early childhood. You were left home alone because maybe your parents just nobody was really around, nobody was really there for you, and you really had to raise yourself, right? So you had to raise yourself. A lot of kids have to do that. So let's use this as our example, okay? Most often we feel like we compare ourselves to others, right? We look out into the world and we say, okay, well, I had to do this. I've had to, I had to heal myself. I had to raise myself. I had to raise myself. I've lived on my own since 15. But I left, earlier than that. But anyway, you miss out on certain things, right? Let's just be honest. There are certain things that as you grow up, we're supposed to be learning, right? And when you look at your friends and when you're in school and you look at other people and maybe your hair wasn't combed as pretty as the other girls who had really pretty bows in their hairs. I remember that. And I remember my clothes weren't as nice as their clothes, and I didn't, I didn't, when I looked at me and I looked at them, I didn't see, the same thing. Like they had confidence. They had, they laughed and they were secure, and their parents picked them up from school and they hugged them and they loved them, and they really interacted well with them. And these kids always had their homework done, and they always seemed happy, right? Because their parents, as parents, we teach our children, certain things. We through not only our interactions with them, but also you know, just through our process of growing and living, and when you don't experience some of the things that others most commonly experience, right? Then you feel inadequate. You feel inadequate, and you don't fit in because you're trying to please. Like a lot of my friends at this point in time, they were really, they had a lot of self-confidence. Where I lacked it. I lacked self-confidence, but I was a people pleaser. I was a people pleaser. Okay. Um, they were taken care of, and they were nurtured, right? They were taken care of and they were nurtured. But I learned how to take care of myself. I learned what do we call this? You know what? I'm going to say we learned survival. We learned survival techniques. I'm going to try to shut this off. Sorry about that. So we learned survival techniques, right? Where they learned, where they were nurtured and cared for and loved and stuff, the things that we wanted, and we deserved it, right? But we got something else. We didn't get this, right? We ended up having we learned survival skills. We learned how to take care of ourselves, right? And as we go through, as you go through, there's more and there's more, and I that's about all that's as far as I want to get, right? That's as far as I want to go with that. But here's the thing. We often look at ourselves for what we're missing, right? Because you came here with this one thing, right? With this life purpose, your purpose, or the original sin. The thing you want to change, right? And the hardest thing that you suffered was this abandonment issue, right? So now you're going to turn it around. Because you didn't learn this self-confidence. Nobody taught you what that was. Nobody praised you. Nobody encouraged you. Nobody put you in positive positions for you to grow as a person, right? You just didn't have that. Instead, you ran around trying to read the room and please everybody. And in the process of this, right, you lack a sense of self. And that's fine. That's fine. Because what you gained is that you can read people like a book. You can read people like a book. In most cases, like for me, I can read people like a book. I can read a room. I can walk into it 5 minutes later and I know everything. Because that is how tuned in I am to me. And that is how these skills work. But I didn't understand them, because you're going to run around and you're still trying to make everybody else happy, right? You're trying to make sure that everybody else is happy so that you feel safe. It's all about safety. This is about being safe. As long as you're running around people pleasing, because We want to learn how to be safe in this world. How can we be safe? How can we be safe? And what's happening over here is that they're learning how to be safe inside, right? They're learning how to choose environments and such to and how to be how to kind of know more about in here, how to be safe inside, or how to choose their environments or what have you. And you can read people, right? So when you learn what I'm going to show you in a minute, this is going to make sense. It's really going to make sense because you already know how to make people happy. You already know how to because that makes you feel safe. It puts you in a place where you are going to be safe. You're going to be safe. But it doesn't build your self-esteem because you're having to do things that you didn't even want to do only to make sure that you are safe. Only to make sure that you're safe. Well, no more, because that's changed. Because now, because you're abandoned, it's still the abandoning. You still haven't made that change, right? There's still that abandonment issue going on inside of you. Okay? And only the reason it's still there is because you lack a sense of self. That's it. Okay. But remember, that skill, if God has hit that reset button in your life or not, you still have that skill of being able to read people and read the room, even though you're still able to keep yourself safe, right? You can still keep yourself safe. This is what's going to change. This is your game changer. And by the way, you're not alone because I grew up this same exact way. And it wasn't until I was 40 when God hit this reset button in my life and I had to start all over again. I melted down mentally and emotionally. And I was a 5-year-old. And it took me 3 years to get to the point where I could actually kind of function, that I could function. And they didn't think I'd live. And they definitely, if I did, they definitely didn't think that that I'd be able to be alone. I'd never be able to survive on my own. I would be either in a hospital or I would have to have a person around me caring for me. And that's not the case. I've lived alone for my entire life. Well, actually, this happened 2006, 2007, 8, and I've lived alone ever since. Ever since that time, and so I know that this works, and you can do this. And I know that it feels scary, but this is where you're going to start healing forward, and you're going to feel good, and you're going to love you because you're going to get to know you. You're going to get to know you, and you're going to break those generational tendencies. You're going to break those generational behaviors, and you're going to win. You're going to win. Let's see. All right, let's look for some positive stuff here, right? Here we go. You raise yourself. You can read a room. You can read people. And 9 times out of 10, you know what somebody wants before they want it. There's your gift. That is a gift that you have created from the other, right? Even though you weren't all this nurturing and you didn't receive these things, you learned by yourself how to give this to yourself. You can do these things, right? So it keeps you safe. This keeps you safe. So you know how to take care of yourself in environments, any environment. You can walk into any environment and you are going to be safe. That is a gift, my friend. Take it and really love yourself for it. Yeah, that really sucked, but you know what? I know that I can always take care of myself. I can always keep myself safe. I'm always safe because I can read a room like nothing. Like nothing. Now, here's here's how you're gonna heal yourself. Here's your healing. Here's your healing recipe, my friend. Right now, you kind of, well, for me, it was I held a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration because I wanted to be where other people were. I wanted to have that confidence. I wanted to know, I looked at everywhere outside of me for my direction. I didn't, I needed somebody to tell me what to do and when to do it and how to do it because that's how I grew up. I grew up with people telling me what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and I had to do it that very specific way. And it wasn't always the same. There were no patterns. The patterns relied on their mood and whatever the circumstances were at the moment. Everything exterior ruled the roost. And that leaves you very hypersensitive to everything. Okay. But you're going to be angry. You're going to be angry with your parents. You're going to be angry with whomever it was. Say you're. We're going to start looking at what you were feeling. Okay. Maybe I should use this one. You're going to be angry with your parents. You're going to be angry with your caretakers, and you're going to be angry with yourself. You're gonna get angry. You feel angry. I felt angry with myself because I couldn't get it. I didn't understand. I looked and I tried I tried to just be like everybody else so that I could fit in, so that I would be accepted, so that so I didn't feel different, right? I knew how to make them happy. I knew what they wanted, and I did it. But the problem was they just kept wanting more. They just kept, they just kept wanting more and more and more and more and more and more. They kept raising the bar higher and higher and higher. And you bust your ass to meet their expectations, and then all of a sudden they walk away. For whatever reason. You don't understand what the hell happened. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. And everything that you have been building, you are inside you about, right? Everything that you've been trying to do on the outside of you to make them happy falls away. It just falls away. It walks away from you. It leaves you again, and you're in the same situation, your abandonment. So let's heal these things, right? Let's really look at this. So how can we heal? How can we heal this stuff? First of all, you have to look at yourself. We're going to put you here and others. And you're going to take, as you move forward now, right? As you start to move forward, not looking back, because that's done. You're right here, and you're going to be looking forward. And you're going to say to yourself, with every interaction with people, again, is this about me, for me, and because of me? Or is this about somebody else, for them, because of them? I call this selfishly selfless. Really listen, this is huge. Whoops, I have this. The rules are, here are your rules. Well, okay. Is it about you, for you, and because of you? And what I mean, now this is the selfishly selfless explanation. And this is really worth paying attention to. About me. How is it going to make, is it about me? Is it something I'm choosing for me? Or am I doing it because of somebody else's expectations that I don't agree with? Right? It's got to be about you. For you. How is it going to benefit you? Is it for, how it has to for you? Your life is about you, for you, and because of you. For you. How are you going to benefit? How is this going to make you better? How are you going to grow? How is this going to enhance who you are? Because you're here all about you. You're here for you. And now it's because of you, because you made the choice, because you made the decision, because that's what you wanted, because that's what you are. That's because who you are, right? This life's about you, for you, because of you. Nobody can tell you anything different. And I'm telling you, this all comes down to looking inside, selfishly selfless. You're going to be selfishly selfless. And how you're going to be able to do this is so, this is the beautiful part, right? Because you're going to ask yourself, who am I? And why are you here? And the first thing is you're going to define who you are. You're going to be able to look in the, you're going to be able to define who you are. And what I mean by that is from the inside of you. You can look on the inside of you, and if it doesn't light you up like the 4th of July, and if it doesn't set your heart on fire, and if it doesn't excite the shit out of you, then it's not for you, and it's not about you. Everything about you from in here, in this beautiful little part of you, it has got to light you up. It's got to set your heart on fire. It's got to be such a burning desire that you just feel it. You just feel it. Because it makes you you. Because it makes you happy. Because it puts a smile on your face. But I'm talking about the stuff in here. Now there's stuff, we'll talk later about the stuff on the outside that can bring that to you, like relationships and such. But right now, we're working on you. Because you are fabulous, and I want you to see just how fabulous you are. And just how priceless, how precious you are. because you are. And I know, I know the feeling of, oh my God, I don't have that much worth. I'm just, I don't mean anything to anybody. I felt the same way. I have felt the same way. But it's not about what you mean, what you think, or what other people's value you hold. What your value is for you is what you have for you. Your value doesn't depend on somebody else, on their evaluation, on whether they choose you or they don't choose you, or if whatever it is, whatever it is. You choose you. You choose you. Because in the end, you have to remember you came here alone and you're going to leave here alone. So you better like yourself. And the way you do that is by getting to know who you are. And let me tell you, my friend, it is so much fun. So much fun. You get to say, who am I? Oh, I like that, or I don't like that. Or yeah, this works for me. This feels good to me. This doesn't feel good to me. I don't really like this. So you get to leave it alone. But I'm not talking about just the exterior stuff, right? Right now, we're talking about interior, in here. Not like, oh, I like that color, or I like that plan, or I like, no. We're talking about, we're digging deep, my friend. We're digging deep. We're talking about in here. Because when you figure this out, remember all those dominoes? My friend, they dissipate. It's almost like they just turn to dust and they just go away. But it all has to start within you. It all has to come. It all starts and ends within you. So now we're going to say who and why. That'll work. Well, we don't need to worry about that. First, yeah, we do. First, we're going to say, when we start looking at and really starting to understand who we are, right? Who we are. These are the things that people that maybe that your friends or your classmates learned as they, and I don't know. These are the things that I'm guessing, but they were able to really look inside themselves, and they were given enough security and enough space to really explore their environment, right? They were able to look out there and really explore in here what made them feel good, what makes them feel good. So when you look inside, we're going to be, when you say, who are you? We're going to be looking within. When somebody told me to look within for the first time, they said, oh, Lesley, look within. I said, look within what? Right? I had no idea. But what this is you're going to look within you. You look within yourself. So, and what you're looking for is how, and really, this has to be done alone. You don't ask other people their advice. You don't even tell people you're doing this. I wouldn't even tell a soul what you're doing. I would, because this is an inside job. This is an inside job. This is about you, for you, because you need to learn who you are so that you can learn what you want out of your life. And nobody, all this stuff out here that's been driving you crazy, shut it off for this, because you're worth this time. And this doesn't need anybody. This only needs you. Your beautiful little self. That's all it needs. That's all it needs. Because you're so precious. And you're priceless. Priceless. God wants people to know, each and every one of them, you are priceless. I made you in my image, and I let you go there because you asked. But now it's time, because here's what's happening. Let me explain this really quick, and then we'll get back to this part of it. The reason we come in with this original sin is that we're trying to make the world a better place, right? We're trying to better the world, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. We're trying to make the world a better place. But what's happening is it just keeps getting, maybe it's safer, but the relationships that we're having with each other, they're getting, they're not serving the purpose that they needed to serve. We'll talk about that on another. I got into that a lot with Tuesday or yesterday, but there's the circle of life. We all have this circle of life, and our interactions with each other. We have our circle of life, and all of these interactions that we have with each other are opportunities for us to learn more about ourselves, right? This is what you're going to be doing here, is you're going to be learning more about yourself through your circle of life as you interact in the world. And it's not just with others, it's everything about life. Everything on the outside, you're going to really start looking at it from an internal perspective, from what you eat, from what you listen to, from what you watch on television, what you observe in the world, right? You're going to really start, if you observe something that's really beautiful and really fun, you're going to say, oh, I really like that. That's really pleasant. Oh, I like those lights at Christmas time. Oh, I love that on 4th of July. Oh, I love the sound of flowing water. I love to watch it trickle down. Whatever it is, from this point on, talk to yourself mentally, however you do it. Talk to yourself out loud. And if anybody says anything to you, like you're going crazy or anything, tell them you're self-employed and that you're having a staff meeting. That's what I have to tell them, because you're just having your meeting, right? But it's through these interactions with everything that you do, you have to ask yourself, is this to my benefit? Does it make me happy? Is it bringing me joy? You do it with the things that you eat, with the things that you wear, the way you present yourself, the way you speak, everything in your life. You have to, from the outside, you start looking on the inside. How does this make me feel? How does this make me feel? Does it light me up? Does it set my soul on fire? Does it make me smile? Does it bring me joy? If yes, great. Keep it in your life. But what about when it doesn't? Right? What about when it doesn't? Let's talk about relationships for a minute. I have to get some more of these in the markers. Let's talk about relationships. This is a really tough one, especially for people who have been people pleasers and raise themselves, that really don't know what's in here, right? You don't know what's in here and how any of this stuff, that you have all these choices, right? But this is in here is where you have to live in order to be guided from your divine. That's why this is so important. But let's look at the relationships for a minute. When you're choosing them, you're going to look inside yourself, and you're going to base your relation. Well, you know what? We're going to talk about this one on another video, because right now we're looking to figure out who you are, right? We're looking to figure out who you are. So I want you to just look at, and ask yourself a few questions, asking yourself, you know, what is it that you stand for? What makes you happy? What makes you angry? What changes? What things happen that you really don't agree with? And sometimes it's a lot of times. Well, for me, I went through the process, and I said, okay, Lesley, I'd see things that I didn't like, and then I'd have to identify what it was, because I mean, I really seriously had to start completely over. Well, what is that? But that's not honest, and you have to look at something and say, well, that person's not being honest, and you have to really say to yourself, you're angry. I was angry about it, but I didn't understand why I was angry. But then I realized I was angry because I knew. When you find, you just don't know some things you're not going to know. So you just set it aside and it'll come to you. Then I realized later I didn't like it because they weren't honest. They weren't honest. So that's one of the things in my non-negotiable. You have to have your non-negotiables, the core of you, non-negotiables. Honesty is key. You have got to be honest with me. If you are not an honest person with me, because remember, you can read people like a book. You have an intuition sharp as a samurai sword when you start going through this process. So honesty is key. You've got to be honest. But you cannot grow your soul. Remember, we're here to grow our soul. You cannot grow your soul without being authentic, being honest, really figuring out who you are and why you're here. And if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with others. And if you can't be honest with others, you're certainly not honest with yourself. So what are your negotiables? What are those core values? Your morals, your value standards? What makes you, what do you stand for? What is it that that you want to represent? What do you want to represent? What do you want to back to the childhood thing, right? Your abandonment stuff. Maybe one of your non-negotiables is that you follow through on your commitments. You follow through on your commitments, and you don't leave things unfinished. It doesn't matter, the situation. If you make a commitment, you follow through on that commitment. That doesn't mean you can't make other people do the same thing, and relationships and such, but you follow through. Sometimes it can be whatever you choose, but these are really important things when you're starting to heal and you're starting to really look at that early childhood stuff, is that there's certain things that are lacking that sense of self, right? That sense of self that you, my beautiful friend, that's so strong, that has a unique gift of reading the room and being able to navigate safely through the world. You get to choose who you want to be. Nobody got to choose nobody showed you those things, but now you get the opportunity to choose who you want to be. Because if there's nothing there, that's not necessarily right now a bad thing. That means that you get to choose. That means that you get to be your own Picasso. You get to paint your beautiful self on the canvas. How many people have you seen in your life that their dad was a doctor, so they were a doctor, and it's just expected, right? Or they were expected to take over the family business. It was just an expectation. And they just don't really live from the inside. They're not really full of joy. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I'm saying, there's a flip side to it. So I'm trying to point out, not that the other's bad, that doctors became, their children became doctors. I'm not trying to say that anything's bad. What I'm saying is, you have where you feel it's a lack. It's actually a gift, because you don't have to change anything. You don't have to paint over anything that's already on your canvas that you don't like. It's just empty space. It's that emptiness that you get to fill now, and now you know how to fill it. Instead of using people and other stuff to fill that void, that walk away, that abandon you, that don't that aren't nurturing, right? You get to fill that space in with whatever you want it to be. And then you say, oh, Lesley, how do I do this? How do I do this? You do it one day at a time. You do it just like I said. You start right now and you say, and you look at things around you, and do you like that? How does that make you feel? And why does it make you feel that way? And make those changes in your environment. Make those changes because of what you feel inside. Make those changes because, we're not looking at the exterior. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Look at what's going on inside of you, right? And how you feel about you. And how you feel about things that are going on within you. Does it make you feel good? Is it lighting you up? Is it setting your heart on fire? Does it excite the hell out of you? Do you just get chills thinking about it? I mean, is it burning up with desire? And I'm not saying that everything's going to be like that. But if it doesn't make you light up and make you happy, life is too short to waste your time with mediocre. Life is too short to waste your time with people who do not reciprocate your kindness, your honesty, your integrity. Life is too short to be spent pleasing other people and never knowing yourself. Because when you know yourself, those interactions with the right people will be so profound and bring you the ultimate joy. And every interaction with people, you will grow like Jack and the Beanstalk. They will light you up. Your interactions will be so moving, and you will support each other, and you'll just cheer each other on. That is how life is supposed to be. That is how life is supposed to be. But you can't cheer anybody on. Well, you can, but nobody can cheer you on, and you can't cheer yourself on. You have to be your biggest advocate. But until you know who you are, it's not going to work. It doesn't work. Because you have to realize that the personal growth is key, right? That personal growth is key. So I hope all of this makes sense. I go back after every one of these videos. I'm going to go back. I'm going to review it, and I'm really going to pull from it the stuff that I found valuable and helpful. There's a survey at the end of this in the description. I really appreciate it if everybody that watches this either live or recorded, if you could just fill that out. That would be great. Oh, I'm kind of tired. The final thing I want to talk about is I have a pilot program that I've created over the last 2 years. And it helps people. What it is it's a pilot program for you to get to know yourself. You can do it all by yourself. You can take the program, do it all by yourself. There's four options really, but there really is three. You can do it on your own, just to ensure, and it will go through and explain those different scenarios in which will work better for people. You can do it, which I think is the best. The second option I think is the best, and it's doing it through a mentorship. It's a mentorship program. Oh, excuse me. It's a mentorship program that also teaches one-on-one, and hopefully in January or sometime in 2025 that I will have my membership group put together. That's after, I'm telling you, start messy, but I can't add any more until I clean up what I've got going. But there's going to be a membership program that's going to be, I know that it's going to be the largest membership program of people around the world, because my goal with that is to heal globally, to heal humanity. Because when all this is explained correctly, when I can find the right words and the right format, it's all going to be, it's just going to benefit people tremendously, and I'm really pleased to have this opportunity and be chosen for achieving things that were unachievable, and being able to smile now and say, this is the greatest thing. If I can just help people feel better, the people that have gone through the thing, through any of the similar things, or help people feel better and help people really understand their purpose, one soul at a time, just one soul at a time, the world will be such a fantastic place within for the next generations. And God will get his people back. This is what it's all about, is God getting his people back, and us really learning that taking responsibility for how we treat ourselves and how we treat others, and truly comes from an inner knowing of really who we are, and what the hell we're doing here. Because life is the world is being, there's a division happening. We can all see that division, and it truly depends on which side of that do you want to be on. Do you want to be on the side that heals and grows and looks forward, or are you going to be on that side that allows others to dictate, and you get stuck in the past? But that's up to everybody's individual choices. But my greatest desire is that the majority, I want to see the majority of people surviving through this, and I truly believe that we can do this. Back to the programs. Anyway, it's right now it's just going to be the course. There's a course that we take for 7 weeks. It's 7 weeks long. We'll meet once a week. When there's enough people together, it will become the group. Now it would just be, a weekly meeting that you have an opportunity to ask questions and really start diving in. And it's not that somebody's going to give you the answer. I'm not going to give you the answer, and nobody's going to give you the answer. But through a positive perspective, help you find your direction. Much of therapy now is people, and coaching and everything, people are telling others what they think they should do, when in reality, we have to remember as practitioners of healing is that our job is not to tell people what to do and which way to do it. Our job is to help them find within themselves their own path. That's the job. And that's exactly what this program does. It helps you, gives you a safe place to look inside and say, who am I? And then you take that information. When you start figuring it out, when you start putting that foundation together, then you take that information out into the world. And then you decide and you determine why you're here. As you implement these things, these new aspects of your beautiful little self, and you move forward. And it's a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. The world changes drastically. Your perspective on the world and people and everything. It changes like you can't believe. And it gets to be, you see things in a different perspective, but you see things that are so beautiful. Beautiful. You can see the beauty in the chaos, and you'll find a greater appreciation for everything. Anyway, there's a link within the description area for that as well. So again, just to wrap it up, I really appreciate you being here. I hope this has given you some sort of an understanding of, the differences, right? The differences. Not all of us grew up in the Beaver Cleaver family household, and some of us really had had it a little more difficult than others, or for whatever reason, right? Maybe we were in a single family household. Maybe we had an addicted parents, or alcoholics, whatever the situation was. When those occur, we have to be able to see those gifts that situation gave us, right? We have to be able to see, yeah, we didn't end up with what other people had, but we're not other people. But we need to find those gifts and those talents that gave us, because those are things that we're going to need. That's why we came with this original sin, right? We came with that original sin to make these changes. We're going to make these changes. But that's that ability, your self-sufficiency, and then later, now you get to create who you are. Look at what that does. You are uniquely created individual, that you did you. You created who you are. You created who you are. You're uniquely made. I just learned today, I shouldn't have said you do you, because I learned today that, I knew it sat in the South when it said, oh, bless you, bless your heart. It doesn't mean really good things. But now I just learned from the West Coast, when somebody says you do you, it means the same thing as in the South when they say, oh, bless your heart. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Anyway, that's just kind of that was a little out there, but anyway, these courses are available, and I would really, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be sure to answer them for you. And if you're interested in getting involved in it, go ahead and use the link below. Read some of the descriptions about it. Look into it. Really, search your soul. Ask your higher self, will this help me? Will this help me? In the way that Lesley said, that this is going to help me. And if it does, if you show me whatever, that's the best thing in the world, this to ask, your higher self, will this help me? And show me this. If you're stuck and you're not certain which way to go. That's the second one, is in a group. We do this in a group format. And then there's a third option, where if you are just to the point where you just feel like, Leslie, I just don't have, I just want to just nail it down. I want to just nail some stuff down right from the very beginning. I'm older, I'm wiser. You know, I just want to nail as much as I can, get as much of it done in a short amount of time. Then I have made it an option with people in the United States and Canada right now that I will come to you and we can spend 3 days from the beginning of the program through as far as we can get to set your foundations, to set your firm foundations. But that means, you know, no cell phones. That means one-on-one. That means hammering it out, full focus on you, full focus on who you are, what you want, and how to get there. And, you know, finding your core inner truth, your core inner self, what makes you you, and then moving forward from there. That's an option for people in the US and Canada. Now, if you're not in the US or Canada, the same option's available. However, it's just an online option that I've worked out, that I put together to help people, if that's an option, you know, if you're in a different country. But I just want it to be fair for everybody right now, and I'm doing the best that I can and providing, trying to collect the resources and providing this so that everybody has an equal opportunity. You know, I want to make sure that everybody has the equal opportunity to take advantage of these situations. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope this, I know it's a little long. I don't even know how long it's been going. But I hope this information helps you. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section below. Fill out the questionnaire, the request questionnaire. And if you want to sign up for the next masterclass, do so, because they're all different. They're all going to be different. And next, every week's going to be different. Anyway, take care. Thank you for joining me.